Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you know, I am Jeremy and this is the Financial Education Channel. And today we're talking about Apple, where I think Apple stock is going. We're going to talk a little bit about that iPhone 7 that came out. We're going to talk about the Apple Watch Model 2 that just came out. And we're going to talk about the EarPods. And we're going to talk about why I think Apple stock is now a buy. I'm a big believer in Apple now. A lot has changed over the last few months, and I want to go through everything with you guys today. So, first off, we had the iPhone 7 launch today. That's a big launch because the product cycles that are always biggest are the ones that are a new, I guess you could say, a more upgraded phone. So like for instance, the iPhone 5 was a big upgrade cycle. The iPhone 5S, not so much. iPhone 6, huge upgrade cycle. iPhone 6S, not so much. So will iPhone 7 keep that going? I believe so. So here's a reason. Most people that own an iPhone, they are over 2 years old. We know smartphones are generally on a 2-year cycle. So we have millions, tens of millions of people that need to upgrade their phones or are going to upgrade their phones because they either broke or something goes wrong with them. Now, the talk was that Samsung is going to start stealing back some of the customers it has lost to Apple over the last couple years since the iPhone 6 launch. Samsung's best product they've ever come out with, the Note 7, that has now been recalled. That's huge in my opinion. People that were going to upgrade to that product now cannot, so they're waiting. Now you see iPhone 7 come out, and now you see the iPhone 7 Plus come out, which iPhone 7 Plus, they have really tried to upgrade that even over the iPhone 7. So the iPhone 7 Plus now has dual camera lenses, and it has the fastest chip Apple has ever put into any device, at least any smartphone or iPad or anything like that. So you're looking at a lot of people, I believe, that are going to look at that Plus size and say, this is my almighty device that I want. And Apple has tried to push people more toward that Plus size because they get $120 more for a base model of the 7 Plus than versus just the 7. They also, from what I understand, get a little better margin on that. I've seen what the chip breaks down on, and they get a little bit of margin. So not only are they getting more revenue coming in, they're getting a little better margin on those 7 Pluses. So that's huge. That's the most important thing out of everything because we know Apple has over 60% of its revenue comes from iPhone. And that's just iPhone sales. That's not counting in all the iPhone accessories. That's not counting in all the services people use through their iPhone. So the iPhone is so vital to Apple's business. It is everything to Apple. Now, what else did they come out with? Apple Watch 2. This has some new features and whatnot, better chips. It is now waterproof, so you can go swimming with it and those kinds of things. I think that's very important. Most people like to wear a watch that is waterproof. Now, I believe this one will sell much better than the first model because as we know, every time Apple comes out with a second product, it sells substantially more than the first. Will this be the first time Apple has broken that trend? I do not believe so. If you look at iPhone 1 versus iPhone 2 sales, they were substantially more for iPhone 2. If you look at the first iPad that came out versus the second, they weren't even close. iPad 2 sales were far above. I believe that will happen. Now because more people have gotten used to the idea of wearing a smartwatch, more people have gotten used to wearing a Fitbit or something like that, a Pebble, a lesser product, that maybe now they're going to say, okay, now I'm going to go spend $300, $400 because this device it's important enough to me now. It means enough that I'm going to spend that kind of money to get it and last a few years. I believe enough people have woken up to that idea. I believe that will be the second most important product for Apple by the end of next year. So it's always been iPhone number 1, right? Or at least in recent memory, iPhone number 1, then iPad, then the Max. I believe that's going to switch, and I believe now the watch is going to jump over Max and jump over the iPad and become the second biggest product for Apple. Then we saw the EarPods come out. So they're wireless little earphones that go in your ears. They're supposed to have good sound. None of us know if they do or not. They're supposed to have great sound, supposed to be wireless, supposed to be so simple you can just tap twice and Siri will come on. It's very futuristic. It's almost like an Iron Man type of thing, right? This is big because since the Beats acquisition, we've seen nothing really. No new innovation come out of Beats. No new innovation. This is the first time something's come out where it's like, that's cool, that's innovative. This is the Beats fruits now paying, for that $3 billion acquisition cost that Apple had to do. That's now paying off. And I believe a lot of people will like this product. I believe a lot of people will buy it. It's only $159, so they need to sell a massive quantity to, make it really matter. But say they even sold it to a fourth of people that buy the iPhones. Even a fourth, or 25%. That's still 10 million a quarter or so, maybe 20 million a quarter. So we're talking about a huge amount of sales that can come from that. Now, Apple stock, why I believe in it. We have the stock has been judged as a downer. Most people are down on the stock. Most people don't believe the upgrade cycles are going to be strong. There's a lot of disbelief in Apple right now, let's be honest. That's a great thing sometimes for a stock, because then when you perform better than what the expectations are, everybody goes, whoa, things aren't so bad. You know what? I kind of like this. And people start jumping in. That's a phenomenal thing. Like I talked about with the iPhone 7, I believe a lot of people need to upgrade and will upgrade, and they will upgrade to Apple versus Samsung. Then you have the services industry growing to be their second biggest business, really. I talked about Apple Watch being their second biggest products, but I believe the services are now their second biggest business, and I believe that's going to really expand. That's been growing fast, and it's been completely overlooked by so many in the investment community. So many have just overlooked the services, selling apps, selling, movies, all those kinds of things that are just exploding for Apple. So that, I believe, will start to be viewed by the investor community as being a real plus, and that will get more people into Apple stock and to buy Apple stock. So those are some of the reasons why I think Apple stock will be shooting up over the next, I would say at least a year, if not 2 years, and why I've really become a believer in Apple. It's not my favorite stock, let's be honest. GoPro is my favorite, Win is my favorite right now, and then Apple. But still, I really like Apple. And if it dropped, say, $100 a share, to $100 a share, not $100 a share, to $100 a share, I would definitely be a buyer of Apple. I would say even at these levels, I'm a buyer, but little bits, I'm going to be biting little bits and hoping it goes down so I can get a bigger position. This whole thing about Apple innovation is dead. It's wrong, in my opinion. It's wrong. Now, are they innovating at the rate Steve Jobs was? No, absolutely not. Let's not kid ourselves. Steve Jobs had them out 5 years in front of everybody. 5 years in front of everybody. So they're not innovating as fast, but still a lot of innovation. I saw a lot of cool things that I've never seen in other products, or maybe other products have, but they don't have the whole shebang like Apple does. So I just wanted to kind of get that out there. Anyways, this is my video on Apple for the day, and I haven't covered Apple in a while because I haven't been that excited about Apple. Today, my mind's been changed. Let's just put it that way. Thank you so much for watching. So, people, if you haven't subscribed, you may want to. I talk about personal finance. I talk about investments, what stocks I'm buying, what stocks I believe in. I believe in Apple. I talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. I'm a young entrepreneur. I own my own business. I give a lot of tips and things like that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.